Hello, this is Dianne Fodell from IBM, and we just finished the morning part of a cognitive tutorial here at the HICSS conference today. I have with me Grady Booch, who is an IBM Fellow and a legend in software development, and he also is very involved in IBM's cognitive systems and Watson. We also have another IBM Fellow, Chieko Asakawa, who presented a cognitive assistant for the blind. And I have my boss and Vice President, Naguib Attia, who is the head of IBM's Global University Programs and formerly was the head of IBM Middle East and Africa. So I want to ask you all a couple of questions and get your opinions that maybe you can help some students in the future about cognitive technologies. So let me start with you, Grady. You presented a lot today and it was great, but what are you thinking are the latest technologies in cognitive systems?
Well, there's so much happening in this space right now, from deep learning to reasoning, you name it. Where I'm placing my focus, which I think is a particularly rich one, is in the area of bringing all these things together. While as people are certainly working on great new algorithms for various kinds of learning and the like, we're focused upon the problems of bringing it all together. How does one assemble multiple neural networks that are focused upon particular domains, together with human-computer interaction, together with working in the world, so it becomes a holistic problem. In many ways, this is virgin territory that is just ripe for interesting thinking.
Good, thank you. Chieko, what are some of the implications to both business and society of these cognitive systems?
Actually, it is a very difficult question, but I have been working in the area of accessibility. So the most important is first we need to implement in society, and once it is implemented in the society, and if people accept it, if technology can really help people, then business comes next. Business follows. So like currently I'm working for cognitive assistant for the visually impaired, and the core technology areas are divided into four, like localization, computer vision, knowledge, and interaction. And there are long way to go, but we are taking a step-by-step approach. So once we reached some points that we can, do the wider social implementation, we will try to work with customer. So currently we reached the first, goal. So now we are working with the customers, so that we can use a real-world environment. For example, we are working with a customer who owns a shopping mall and customer who construct a building, so that we can do the real world experiment. Then society can understand or experience what we are talking about for the cognitive assistant for the visually impaired. Then if they believe those technologies is going to be useful for everybody, business comes next. So I think research, experiments, and business will be a good approach, strategy.
Great, thank you. Naguib, tell us a little bit about IBM's role in helping universities, both faculty and students, use cognitive systems and participate in research and development for cognitive systems.
Thank you, Dan. As you know, our organization is about supporting the academics and bringing IBM technology to the hands of faculty and students. So as part of my mission going forward is I want to see focus on the cognitive use of research funding for research in cognitive. I know that now in many regions in the world they are going after using cognitive for healthcare, focus on healthcare, focus on agriculture and water and famine. Focus on education. Actually, we're looking for the tutoring technique that's going to change the world of education through the leverage of Watson. So I encourage every researcher to apply with these advanced areas of research for grants, as we provide grants for PhD fellow, we provide grants for undergrad interns, we provide grants for top research, open collaboration. I really would like to see some research funds requests coming from the areas of these, that as I go back to a Chieko question on helping the society. I want to see the universities are really solving human race issues, not just having fun for the sake of research.
Good. Now a question for all three of you, or any of the three of you. What are some ideas for young researchers in the areas of cognitive systems that they could pursue as their thesis or dissertation topics? What are some cool ideas that you would recommend to young research students?
I have several. Imagine a PhD focused upon ethical decision making. That's a topic that's just so relevant, and we're on a place where the kinds of systems we're building, these issues become very real for us. Issues of sensor fusion, trying to bring together classic approaches we've taken in neural networks for one particular modality and fusing it with others. How does one bring together things like vision and speech and even lip reading and emotion reading to get some sense of a picture of the real world? Work in theory of mind. We're at the point where we know how we can build systems that have a theory of mind of itself and of others, and there's a lot to be done in that space. And that's just what I might do in some morning at IBM.
Tip of the iceberg.
It's a typical morning for Grady.
That's interesting. Chieko?
Yes. Okay. So I really think it is a great time for PhD students to do research focusing on cognitive computing, because the core technologies have been rapidly advancing, like computer vision or machine learning, deep learning, speech. So students can focus a lot of interesting things. So for based on my experience, combining localization, interaction, computer vision, you can think about a lot of research theme around you. So they don't have to start thinking about very difficult questions, but you can think about something interesting in your life, and because cognitive is everything around people, so I think it's a good time to start focusing on cognitive computing to do PhD.
That's great. Naguib?
I coming from the Middle East and lived in that region for 3 years, and the world around, the travel and the risk of travel and security, and the terrorism is every day in the news. I funded 2 years ago some research for what we call it intelligent police workforce. The ideas of that field, if someone comes up with some research, I am sure that you will find the people before they do the act, and you will dedicate. And I would love to see a robotic like this looking at the eye of someone coming through the custom, and because if they have that rich knowledge through the custom, they can tell you right or wrong and give you some indication of the personality. There is a deep need for leveraging the cognitive in the security field.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, go ahead, Chieko.
Can I?
Sure.
Sure. Fix it. Okay. So it is a great time for PhD students to focus on cognitive computing when they do PhD. And actually, I've been working on cognitive assistant for the visually impairments. But cognitive assistant here means to supplement or augment missing or weakened abilities of people with disabilities. So it means it can, supplement our cognitions. So if you think about, if you cannot hear, if you cannot see, then you can think about very, very interesting research topics. So I really encourage, students to start thinking about cognitive assistant for specific topic. Thank you.
Very good. Well, thank you all. Thank you for participating in the cognitive tutorial here at HICSS, and thank you for this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.